And we are live. Yes! Welcome to Conversations with C, where we connect with spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. My special guest today is psychic medium Jennifer Rose. Jennifer is a highly regarded international spiritual evidential medium, a trance healer, and channel who has dedicated her life to spreading the message of eternal love and life. And everything else about Jennifer, you're just going to have to get to know her as this interview unfolds or conversation unfolds. And you can ask her all the questions you want. And she'll also be doing an amazing trance demo for us. And insider's tip, I've never observed you in trance before. This is my first time. So I'm especially excited. I don't know who's coming through or I don't know anything. So it's going to be new for all. Well, some of you probably have already connected and experienced this before, but it's going to be new for me and to many of you. And so please feel free to share this out. And we're just here with love. And I just want you to join me in welcoming Jennifer Rose.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me on your show again, C. Megan.
You're so welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hello to Kaz. Hi, Kaz. Welcome. Susie Jarvis. Hello. You should be able to see the comments on the screen as I pull them up. And I am going to, what I'd like to do, because not everybody saw our first interview a couple of years ago, which is super awesome. Hello, Fran. Welcome.
Hi, Fran.
I felt the connection with you guys. I'm like, I'm going to leave that one up longer. You know?
I know. She's my girl.
Awesome. Oh, we have another known guest in the house. Yes,
Oh, hi, Kitty. Hi, Trixie.
I'm showing you my messy desk. Trixie, look up. Why does she not want to look up? She's like, if I want to be on camera, I will put my face right there. Or maybe she's saying, brush me. All right. Hello.
Hi,
Mara. Hello. William Michael Flores. Hi. Great to see you. He says, hello, beautiful souls. It's great to see you, too. That's another gentleman that I would love to have back on my show. I will be messaging you. Hopefully you'll say yes. I'm just saying. But I'm just so excited to have you here, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you would be so kind as to get us a little bit caught up, like, who are you? Where are you from? Just the basic stuff. Or even if you want to talk about, because I know that you've been sensitive since you were a child. And I also know, because I know we've talked to you before, but I also feel your energy. And you're one of the most sensitives I've ever met. Does that make sense? I just feel it. I feel like Spirit shows me. I don't plan on doing a reading, but I think you're a sponge. I feel like you're just so empathetic. So I'd be interested to know. I mean, you feel it. Tell us anything you like, but I also want to know what it was like growing up, or being so sensitive. And Trixie, my cat, is literally moving the entire camera, and there's not much I can do about it without rearranging my whole desk. That's all right.
Hi, Miguel.
Hello. Hi, Miguel.
Miguel is an amazing trance medium and healer as well.
Thank you. On my show.
You would love to have him for sure.
Yeah. Kimmy, thank you for sharing.
Hi, Kimmy.
Yeah, so tell us about whatever you want to tell us about, can get us caught up, but I also really want to know about, from your point of view, because I know what it's like to be me, living in this world, being super sensitive, and I want to know what it's like to be you, and then also what tips can you give us for living, a high vibrational life and not being this just totally absorbent sponge. And yeah.
Okay, sure.
Be quiet.
All right. So we're going to talk about being an empath. Okay, that sounds great. I love that. So yeah, I was definitely highly sensitive from the time I was very early. I knew I was intuitive. Hi, Fiona. Good to see you. I knew I was intuitive, but I'm sure, as you can probably relate, and many of the people here that are on the show, is we're not always believed. Our sensitivity is not always understood. We're accused of being dramatic, even though we're kind of like tuning into what other people have going on, but then it's kind of like put against us as there's something kind of wrong with us. And when I would express my knowingness, so to speak, I would get kind of scoffed at or not believed. So you just learn to kind of keep it quiet. And I just sort of found my way and, moonlighted at the metaphysical bookstores as I got a little older. So I would have some kind of connection to trying to figure out what that was. But that I kind of lived that way a very long time without really understanding it until I got older and started kind of going into my mediumship development. And then I began to really learn a lot more about what it means to be sensitive, to be an HSP or to be an empath.
Yes.
But what I've come to understand, if I can help people who are here are struggling with that too, is that it's important to understand who you are as a person. So a lot of the empath journey is the know thyself journey. And so the more you can learn to, I'm getting chills as I say that, the more you can learn about who you are as a divine being. When they say spiritual being having a human experience, we really mean you're a spiritual being having a human experience. That means you are created from that divine spark. And with that there's nothing more powerful than being made from the divine, which is the absolute all-encompassing love. And if there's nothing more powerful than love, and love is what you are, then nothing can really harm you. So it's kind of it's an awareness shift in that sense. So if you see yourself as weaker than that which is around you, then it's difficult to live your life the way you'd like to, be able to go whatever store you want to go to, or be able to be around the people that you want to be around and not have that. But if you learn to understand, well, I'm a divine being, I'm as strong or stronger than what's around me, then that's a pretty nice shift in your focus and in your belief of who you are too. So seeing yourself, learning to know about your own power is really, really important, to know what that power is. And so in the mediumship world, we talk all about the power, that's the spirit. It's energy, but beyond energy, because of the consciousness that's behind the energy. And that power is very powerful, but you're it too. So we sit in the power to connect with it, but you are also the power. So it's power inside power. It's power within power. If that makes sense. And so, but if you're in those kind of early stages of learning to understand your sensitivity, and you haven't quite got to the part where you're like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, Jennifer, but I'm still scared to go into that store. I'm still scared to be around that person or whatever, because I don't want to feel like they're draining my energy or they're putting something on me or something like that. If you haven't quite gotten to that space where you've been able to sort of shift your perception, I would just suggest just learning to push your space out bigger, so you feel like you have more space, and just think of it that way, versus, because what a lot of people do when they feel uncomfortable is they go like this. They get scared and they contract it in. That actually could make you feel more sensitive to what's around you, versus feeling like you have space, and you're also learning about the power as well, because that's what we do for our development as mediums, is we learn to expand our space, or expand our energy, or our spiritual power that is us around us, and make it as big as can be. So we're kind of like nice and receptive to the spirit world, but that also gives you space so that you feel a little more protected in your environment, kind of thing. So that's, one thing that I would suggest. And then just really continue working on like your belief in yourself. Really continue working on your belief in yourself. But as soon as we shift that perception, it's like, where did we get the idea that the world around us was more powerful or stronger than us, and we're like weaker? Like, being sensitive doesn't mean weak. Being sensitive is actually a gift. It's a superpower. It is awesome. Like, you're very lucky to be sensitive, and we need more sensitivity, not less. And that is what I always used to say as a little girl, because I get frustrated. The little me would be like, don't tell me I'm too sensitive. You're not sensitive enough. I used to have that thought, but I realized we could use more sensitivity in this world. It adds more love.
You're too sensitive. You've heard that a lot in your life?
Oh, sure. I'm sure many of us here, we've heard you're too sensitive. And
it's have you guys heard that? Has anybody ever said that to any of you? Let us know in the comments. Because I know I certainly have heard that Oh God, I heard it from work. I heard it from personal relationship. I heard it all over the place.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, people are telling us there's something wrong with us, because they don't know how to receive that, sensitivity. But, over time, it's kind of like when people don't believe in you because you're psychic or you're a medium, but then all of a sudden something happens to them, then they come to you and kind of like, this sort of happened to me, like that happens sometimes. It's the same thing. You're sensitive, someone doesn't believe you, but then they need you. Then they need your sensitivity. They need somebody to understand them, so those things kind of happen where it comes full circle and they come back to you. And I'm seeing someone say,
saying that on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm very aggressive and protective of my space. Confidence and strength is not an issue. Being labeled crazy is for me. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, you're not crazy. You're just beautiful and perfect just the way you are. And I think a lot of people, when we're in the spiritual field and we're expressing our spirituality, people who have intuitive gifts are going to get labeled and insulted for those kinds of things by other people that don't understand them. And that's where we just kind of have to learn, that's your journey. This is my journey,
Right.
That's okay. You just do your thing. I'll do mine. And just, we don't have to believe that when it's coming to us.
Absolutely. I do see with Susie, I see like they're showing me an M&M, like with the heart, the candy coated shell and soft in the middle. That's what I'm seeing. So
yeah. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with being protective of your space. The only thing I would suggest is like, maybe and this is just a suggestion, we could question, like, what do we feel like we have to protect our space from? If, and that could just invite some further inquiry. But if, but it's okay just the way it is too. You know what I mean? It's just a suggestion maybe where we could some further inquiry of how we're perceiving what's around us or how we're perceiving, the people in our life or the space in our life. I always recommend just moving a step forward when I'm encouraging students to practice like with their clairsentience, which is their ability to feel, because with mediumship, they have to give me the feeling, the emotions, the sensations, and all of that. But I always just like go into different spaces when you're going shopping. What does this place feel like? What does that place feel like? And just think of it as information versus something that could harm you. Just think, well, that's just information, and as soon as you don't connect with it as something like, harmful or harmless in either way, then you just learn to let it go. So just like with mediumship, they could show me like, oh, my chest is feeling a little tight because they're showing me they had heart problems. As soon as I say it, I let it go. I don't worry about it harming me because I know it's just information that's just kind of coming through my awareness, but being given to me through perception. So perception of information isn't necessarily harmful to you. Think of it, that's just information. So we can practice going in different places. And then if you feel like a little intimidated by that, you could always bring in, like say a little prayer. You could bring in some white light around you or the violet flame around you. Just think of the room being full of like violet purple energy, or something like that. And that's just kind of a little tool or ritual just to help you shift into the next part of your day, so to speak.
That was awesome. And I literally just checked. I swear, I'm like, that's cool. She's answering questions before I ask them. Checking it off.
Well, we're in tune. You and I are in tune.
Very much. I feel my protective nature comes from being attacked so much. The hard shell is not a good look, and I feel that's an area I can soften up.
Yeah. So yeah, I just invite you to just further inquiry of that part of your journey. And it feels to me, and this is just a suggestion, you don't have to accept it. It just feels to me like the fact, because we're discussing this, it's letting you know, like, this is coming forward now to see where you're going to go next, like what the next shift is for you. Because I get a lot of chills as I say that. So because we have situations in life, a lot of people sometimes observe it as like a stuck energy, but as it's been shown to me from spirit, it's not stuck and it's not something that's harming you. If we see something in the auric field, they call it, my people call it saved for later. Like it's just there because we're not ready to look at it at this age, but when we get to this age, we'll be ready to look at it, and that will be the next part of our know thyself journey. And so when we get to that, we start to become more aware of it. We start to then deal with the emotions and the memories and things like that. So nothing has gone wrong. It's just, maybe not at 20, but maybe 40 is okay. Then it's a better time to be working through that, previous experience that we haven't fully, gotten to understand, and so forth.
Well said. It was awesome.
Well, thank you. I get help. I get inspired by the spirit.
I am too. I swear, I feel like our teams are totally coordinated here because they're tickling my scalp, which is and I'm getting that. Like when I asked you that question about the empath, I wasn't planning on that. That was spirit.
Yeah.
Battling with you, and so they're playing. I feel like
I know. I know. Exactly. Exactly.
Hi, Julie. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Jamie Stanley. Welcome. And Susie says, you both seem hot. Okay. I put my hair on before we started.
Well, we do have, there is a lot of power in the room of the spirit, and sometimes that can show up as cold or warm. It is feeling for me a little bit on the warm side right now, but that could switch when we go into trance later. But yeah, I think Susie, you're picking up on the power for sure.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So, oh gosh. So what did I want to ask you a moment ago? Perception of information. You said perception of information. And so you were talking about walking into a store or a place, you feel the energy, and it's just information, or doing a reading. And that's an interesting point for me, because being an empath, I've always been able to feel stuff. But I didn't always know it was somebody else's stuff. Most of my life, I thought it was all mine. I went to a lot of doctors when I was younger, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Once you know, what advice do you give to people that are empaths but are just maybe now and on this live stream becoming aware? Wait a minute, you mean I had that headache or stomach ache and the doctor couldn't find anything, and maybe that wasn't ever mine at all? So,
yeah. So then we can start to ask that question. If that's not information about me, then I let it go and release it. Because if it is information about me, maybe that's something I can explore for myself. So maybe I need to go to the doctor and get that checked. But we can put that intention into our higher self, as where our higher self and the God self, or whatever you want to call source, spirit, God, is our first and foremost guide, even though we have all these lovely helpers around us too. But we can put that intention, okay, higher self of me, if this isn't about me, can I release this and let it go? So then you're learning to have that empowerment within yourself of being able to navigate all of that too. But that's part of the journey too. You see, that's all happening to help to teach us that, and to help us learn that discernment, whatever that kind of the lesson is in that experience for us, of more discernment or more boundaries, or learning to let things go, or just learning to even to have those ability to detect the subtle shifts in perception and being able to know sort of what is us and what is not us. But at the same time, we also have to remember we're not separate beings. We are part of the oneness as well. So it's not abnormal to be tuned into to what else is in the field there. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing abnormal about it. It's actually pretty exciting, because the more you're able to be tuned in, the more magic you get to feel and experience, So there's gifts for being sensitive. There's a lot of gifts.
So when you figure out that your sensitivity is your superpower, and you're not damaged goods, as and I'm sure some of you don't feel that, but some of us have definitely gone down that route.
I know.
Like they're broken or something, and maybe different than other people in the family, and more sensitive, and
it hurts. It can feel like a curse, and it does hurt when people do not understand your emotional nature, and they're and then they try to kind of sort of shut that down on you. And when people are not giving you that understanding and sort of that validation that you need to know that you felt seen and heard, it really is hurtful. So yeah, I have to honor that with all of us, but I'm just trying to offer some other perspectives and how we can, move forward but I still get hurt from it. It hurts my feelings. It does, and it's not much I can do about it, but I find my tribe of people that I have around me that do get me. And that's very helpful as well. So we're going to have people in our life that, and we don't have to clear those people out because, they could be family, they can be friends, but they may just not understand us to the same level as other people that we have. So then you have to learn to kind of make decisions about how you're spending your energy, what you're sharing what with, or who you're sharing what with, and so forth like that. And you just know, okay, that person, that's just not somebody who I need to invest that much of my emotional energy with. I'll have a different kind of conversation with that person. And then this is a person. Yes, definitely hard to be male and sensitive. I'm seeing James. That is. So I honor that. But your sensitivity is a gift. So we need more of that divine masculine, which is, masculinity combined with sensitivity. We could use more of that. So you're a gift and a treasure in this world. Take that with you, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
William Michael Forbes says you are never alone.
Yes, very true. We're always connected. Yes.
And Fran is saying it's very attractive, James, the sensitivity. And because it's a beautiful trait. And I do personally feel, do you feel that the world is changing now, and overall, like, humanity is becoming more sensitive and more compassionate?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been evolving over time for several years now. In fact, I mean, the whole history of humanity has been an evolution, but we're really seeing, some exciting things happening right now. It's been amplified and getting stronger and stronger. So it's important for us to see too that, if we're only like watching the news and we're getting a lot of what bad things that are happening, and they are, but there's also a lot of good things that are happening too that we're not always getting to be exposed to. So that can give us a little bit of an altered perception of the reality of things or the totality of things too. But yeah, I absolutely believe that that's part of, if we want to call it the ascension or the growth and awareness of love. That's the direction we're going. It's always about creating more love, and sometimes creating more love and expanding in love, call it God expanding itself. How much more loving can I get? Sometimes that does happen through difficulties, because sometimes it's the difficulties that bring people together too. And so sometimes we have to understand, a lot of times we look back and go, oh, that hard time I had made me more loving and more caring, even though it really sucked. Too,
You just encapsulate.
Yeah.
Like, you just gave the Reader's Digest version of my life. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the thoughts about ascension, that's I don't know if it's for me. If for me, this is just if it's a dimensional shift as much as a growth in collective humanity of love and people learning to come together and work together. I think it's important that it's not just about higher beings coming to put their energy in, but it's all about what we're doing together, what every little bit that we do to help and to give love. And even if it's a smile or a prayer or a thought, it doesn't have to be this big, huge things. Those things multiply and they have ripple effects and they're infinite. So the more that we keep loving and keep hoping and keep having faith, and, the better the world gets, even if we don't always see it right away. So, yeah.
I love that. Great question. Great answer. Thank you. Amy is saying the rise in men's mental health problems is slowly changing things. I guess that's becoming. I haven't. No, I mean, I'm not really in tune with that specific topic, but I can. It makes sense, because if everything is being more, the way that I see the world, and I didn't watch TV for years, and then And then my brother got me a Roku a couple of years ago, and I'm really glad I accepted it because he just passed away. But anyway, I said, thank you very much. It was a heartfelt gift from my brother. That was a really, and I know he's listening. That was a big thing for him to send me something with no occasion. And anyway, so I watch it. But now I see things, I'm becoming aware of things that clearly have been going on for years, but I wasn't aware of it. And that's like, well, all the gender fluidity, and then and this more acceptance, things that were not a part of my life when I was younger.
Yes.
I mean, the LGBTQ, everybody. I mean, it's so much more of a compassionate, more, and I feel like some people are like struggling to deal with it, but I feel like the younger people are already born into it. You know?
I know. Yeah, it's
older, like, oh, this is interesting and different. Trixie, stop. Sorry, cat.
Trixie. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. There's so much more openness and acceptance, you know, because we're seeing things on TV that we never used to see before that would have never would have shown. They would have never shown men kissing on TV like they do now. Back when we were younger, that would have been like, but it's like, that's pretty darn common now. Like we're all getting like acclimated and used to it and things like that. So we're definitely coming a long way. We do have, you know, more work to do, and there's definitely more ways to go. As I'm tuning into what Jamie's saying too with the mental health is, there's a lot of transformation. I mean, we've been going through some intense several years of transformation through COVID and so forth. So I'm not surprised that the uptick in mental health issues is coming. Now, I'm not a doctor, you know, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I do understand transformation. I understand the dark night of the soul. I understand the Kundalini awakening. People can think they're going crazy when what they're having is a very higher self-driven, spiritual, transformative experience that's letting them know that they are that spiritual being having that human experience as well. And I do believe there's the physical 3D reality regimen is appropriate for some people, and some people might do better by having, you know, someone who's you know, like a transpersonal psychologist or somebody who's familiar with those kinds of work to, you know, to help maybe as well in conjunction with or on the side, because some people are just really open channels, and, you know, and then the outside world isn't understanding them. So we have to make sure if no one's, you know, in threat of harm of self or anything like that, we don't want that. But that's definitely kind of when I'm tuning into his comment, that it makes me think of that there's just more transformation going on. And if it's happening for men, that's telling me more intuition coming, more sensitivity coming, more connection coming. And with that connection, we find more balance between the feminine and the masculine. And with that balance, there comes the rise in more love awareness, ascension. So
Sorry about my cat. I don't know why Trixie is doing this right now. Here, you want to be on camera? Here it is. Back and forth.
She's feeling the power. She wants Mama's attention.
She likes to be on camera, and I love her being here. I love it. It's so funny because I also, you know, aside from, you know, doing these awesome live streams with amazing people like yourself, I do like user interview, which has nothing to do with our topic. Anyway, I do other things on camera sometimes, you know, for business. And she comes running in because Trixie, she thinks I'm live streaming. I'm like, no, honey, this is not that. This is not a live stream. So, she's like, and Susie says she wants Mama's love.
She wants Mama's love.
Now, Myra is saying, am I pronouncing your name correctly? I hope. My 88-year-old father is having a difficult time adapting, but has come a long way with the commercials.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's commercials out there, but we're just like you were just talking about men kissing on TV. I've seen commercials that are very gay friendly. I'm like, more than gay friendly. I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
It is. We've come so far. I mean, there is something big happening that we don't all fully understand, you know, because it's good to see that. And it's interesting because when we think of spirit, you know, there's not as much of that defined masculine and feminine as we have here in the physical reality. And so being that there is so much more of that fluidity happening, it tells me something big is happening. Their spirit's letting us know we're more than we're remembering. We're more connected. We're less separate than we think we are. And we're being challenged to find more acceptance of each other and more love for each other.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And now I feel like taking a turn to the other realm. I feel really drawn to ask you about spirit. I feel like I'm supposed to ask you now, and then I'm supposed to ask your guides. Am I able to ask you guys any questions? Or
sure.
Oh, okay.
However you would like to go. Go with the flow.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so excited. So you've been a medium for a long time, and you also do mental mediumship and platform mediumship, right?
Yes.
So you can talk to dead people in any which way. You're a trance medium, an evidential medium. You are a medium. So what is your understanding from your perspective of the spirit realm, or the veil, as people generally call it? Like, I'm just going to give that to you. I'll give it to you, and I'll just sit back and listen. Whatever you say is great.
Well, I love connecting with the spirit world. It's one of my most favorite things to do. I love talking to our loved ones who have passed over. Each one of them becomes a friend of mine every time I do it. It's so much fun. I love connecting to that space because it is a space of unconditional love. It's one of the safest places you could be, even though I know sometimes people are scared of that connection. It's actually one of the safest places you could be because of the absolute unconditional love that you're able to connect with and tune into. I would say that when we say spirit world or we say physical world, they're not separate. They're very dancing together, intertwined. You can maybe even say the physical reality is contained within the spiritual reality, and you can move back and forth into it. The veil itself is very much of our perception of separateness from that which we are a part of. So we're having an individualized experience of our essence and our personality, and it feels incredibly real sometimes, right? Because we know that there is an illusionary aspect to physical reality. It's not as solid as we think it is. There's way more to meets the eye. We tune out a whole lot. Our sensory, our eyes and ears and nose and taste is only taking in a fraction of what's actually out there, right? So we know that how we perceive our reality, and we're very much channeling it a lot, is perception is limited, right? But it also can feel very real, and we feel separate in that realness too, to even the point of loneliness and things like that, right? And that's okay, because that's our experience of our life and our personality, and that's part of our legacy that we take with us as a spiritual being. But it's still not separate. So we're also contained within the oneness as well, kind of like I like to say the rainbow. We're part of the rainbow, but we feel ourselves as a little aspect of color of that rainbow, but we never stopped being part of the rainbow too. But that veil is how separate we feel and how really immersed in this physical 3D reality we perceive ourselves to be. Now, some people are very, very immersed. They're not having a whole lot of stuff out, from the the other forces kind of coming through. That it's just that's okay. That's their spiritual journey, the way it's been intended for them. Nothing wrong with it. So it's not for us to say, well, they're just so asleep, bad for them. We need to wake them up. So that's kind of a little bit elitist, but some people, the veil is thinner, and through the transformation of the transformative periods, that veil can thin to where you do start to realize you are part of that world too. And you're kind of got a foot in each one of them. Sometimes we say we're in this world, but not of this world, which could be true. That's a great way of looking at it, and so, even for myself, I've been through a lot of transformation, and the veil for me can shift a little bit, because if my higher self is wanting me to be very immersed in my human experience, I begin to forget a little bit again. I feel very much me again, and in my process and all of that. And then there's other times where you're like, okay, it lightens up again. And oh yeah, that's all been there the whole time. So it's flexible. The veil is flexible. So that's why I say we look at people, we think of enlightenment as if they've mastered, crossing the veil and they're never going back. And I'm like, that little higher self can just flip the switch and send you right back.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's like sometimes I'll feel so awake and enlightened, and I'm like, wow, I'm so connected. And then like the next day, something happens, and I'm like, I feel badly because somebody did, or they, whatever it is. I'm feeling something in my in the story that I'm living in, the part that I'm playing. I get wrapped up in a situation, and I know it's only a story, but I'm still feeling it, experiencing it at that
It's
moment.
true. It's so true. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's meant to be that way, because I mean, maybe if we were out of that story the whole time and always in that space, would we even need to be here? We could just hang out over in the spirit realm, right? You know what I mean?
Do you think that our mind or our brain, or our mind and our body, do you think this suit that we're wearing now is the veil? Is our mind and our programming the veil? Is our physical body somehow the veil? What keeps us from, or is there an energetic block? Like we're not allowed. I know. Okay, I got to tell you, share this with you. When I was a child, I was so intuitive, and I didn't know any. Anyway, doesn't matter. A lot of us didn't. So here I am. I'm a little girl, and I know that I forgot something, and I know that I have to remember it. I keep reminding myself to remember. And I would, like, events would happen, like a 7th birthday or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to remember this. I kept saying, I'm going to remember this. And then eventually I forgot what it was that I was supposed to remember. But I remember these 2 questions. I would ask myself, well, what if there was no God? And what if there was no universe? And I would ask myself those questions. I feel like I know, actually. I gave myself those prompts to help me remember, because I feel like my spirit, my higher self was like, I've got this. I'm not going to forget. And then I came here and I forgot.
Yeah, no, I get that. And it gets actually pretty complicated when we're looking at that too. And thank you, Susie. She's so sweet. It gets a little complex, but the way it's been shown to me that I love to describe it is, if we think of like a coin, okay, it's a very simple way of looking at it. And the top of the coin is the higher self of us. So Jennifer and Megan, who know the whole plan, and they know how it's all going to work out, and we've got this, it's all good. Then there's the bottom of the coin, right? That's Jennifer and Megan, the personality of us immersed in this experience. We don't know how it's all going to turn out. There you go. We don't know the plan. We're actually living the story, right? We're living the story. It's still the same coin. We never stopped being, right? And so let's call the veil that space in between. And the higher self is the person who's driving how thin or thick that space is. Nothing we're doing wrong. It's not our brain's fault. It's not our memory's fault. It's not our personality's fault, because we don't know how did we forget, or how did it's nothing we're doing wrong. So if we like get hard on ourselves, like, oh, I forgot again, like, did you? Or did we just go through another cycle? And it just, sometimes we do the same story over and over again in different ways, because we're getting little bits of perspective each time we do it. And in our perception, we're like, again, do we really have to go on the spiral and the wheel again? Like, why? I already know this stuff. Why are you teaching me this again? I don't understand. Am I doing something wrong? Not necessarily. From the spiritual perspective, it's all good. Like, this is experience. This is rich. We're getting all kinds of stuff out of this. But to the personality, I don't know about that. So that would be my offering of how I have sort of learned it and perceived it. I just say it's not anything anybody's doing wrong.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with that totally. I mean, we come here with the intention of forgetting,
Exactly, yeah. And
so
we're so,
like you had said earlier, and I'll just have to paraphrase, but you were talking about, well, there's no need for me to paraphrase. You already said it. Go ahead and continue with what you were about to say next.
I was just saying, we're very multidimensional. We have many parts of us, and we shift into different parts of us throughout the day, every day, all the time. And we're not even realizing we're doing it. We literally forget the part of us that we just shifted, because we're familiar with most of these parts. Sometimes parts can come out and we go, who was that just came out? Like if we get really triggered and things like that, right? And so we're just so multidimensional, so many parts of self, and we shift between, deep dreams to being fully out. We can call it brain waves or brain states, but it's beyond that. We go into deep thought, we drive, we forget how we got there. We're in a lot of different states of perception and states of altered states of consciousness throughout the day anyway. That's why I say trance isn't really that. It's something that we have to develop and practice, but it's not like an abnormal thing. It's actually a normal state of being to be able to shift into different states of consciousness. It's just you and I have learned to do it more on command and to deeper levels and for other purposes of working with spirit, right? But we're making these shifts all the time. And so you and I are talking together and we're interacting with everyone who's joining us here. But then when we get off, we're going to shift to, you're going to be with Trixie, or you're going to be with your dog, or you might call a friend, or you might go to the store, and you're going to be a little slightly different shift from where you were here with me right now, And so when we start to think about that, it's like, wow, look at that.
I love that. Kimmy, did your question get answered? Kimmy's asking, do you feel that the belief of being separate is what makes the veil?
I think that's a big part of it, but it's not wrong, because part of feeling separate is also being part immersed in this reality of having the experience. I think a lot of us just wish that we, had more connection. A lot of us want more of that connection too. And then sometimes we get it and then we want to go back because it's a little bit like, whoa, that's so much. And then we want to go back into feeling less connected. Everyone's a little bit different, but that veil of that feeling of separateness of being, is definitely part of it, for sure. A big, huge part of it. And that's why sometimes when we see ourselves as separate from our environment, and then we're perceiving it as better or worse or weaker or stronger, when we're really part of that oneness too. And I don't know if we can really disconnect our energy or separate our energy from everybody else's, because it is all one big, massive, beautiful consciousness. We can tune into anything of it. So it's not wrong to feel what's happening around us. It's just in how we learn to manage it and how we learn to understand it for ourselves.
Awesome.
Tying it all in a bow.
Awesome. Hi, Heather. Glad you're here. Oh my goodness.
Hey.
She says, so real. She says, I feel like that voice is hard on ourselves. Come to my parents. What's that about?
Yeah, that when we're kind of self-critical and we're sort of hearing it as that parental voice of what we've been told, that's hard. It is. It's hard. I would just suggest we have to sometimes learn to be the parents to ourselves, learn to be the loving parents to our feelings, to our thoughts, to our experiences. So if we're feeling uncomfortable feelings that we don't like, that we think we're not supposed to feel, can we hold them, in a loving embrace? Because God's spirit doesn't judge those feelings. They love every part of us. They embrace us in grace and see us as beautiful and perfect. So if we can hold that in that gentleness of learn to do that for ourselves, it will help to heal a lot of that, because it's not wrong to be angry. It's not wrong to be sad. It's not wrong to feel a little envy sometimes, because we go through these things as children and no one teaches us what to do with it. So if it comes back to us as an adult, it's giving us the opportunity of now being able to know what to do with it, to know how to love it and give it love. The more we can give all of these things love, the more we can heal from it and move forward in that. Okay.
Heather says, I missed a big chunk and I will have to watch the rest on replay. Awesome.
Okay.
Glad you're here.
Hey. Hey, girl. Hey.
To explain it. I love it. So what do you feel drawn to go into trance and have
sure.
You guys chat a little bit? Yeah.
I would love to.
Time for 20 minutes in trance or something like that. Everybody has a different idea. What's their
yeah. My guy could talk forever. Oh my gosh. Give him a time limit.
20 minutes, but I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I know. I always say spirit, they love to talk about themselves just as much as all of us do. We like to talk about ourselves, they like to talk about themselves.
which is so funny because I wrote down the question, what does spirit do? Like, what do you do all day? And they said, wait, don't ask her, ask the guy. So they're already prompting me.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. So, okay, yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so
I would
please
love
go
to
ahead,
give.
tell everybody what to do. I'm going to excuse
Yeah.
myself for just a moment, grab some more water while you're letting everybody know what to do.
Okay.
Go into trance.
Okay, lovely. So I'm going to take a few moments to be just moving into a deeper space of awareness, to where I'm just kind of falling a little bit back into my own perception of what's happening. I'll be kind of in the background, being able to sort of hear what's happening as it's like happening in real time. So by the time I come out of trance, I probably won't remember much of what was said. Bits and pieces of it I might. Healing may be happening at the same time with trance. So you may be receiving healing. If you don't want that, just say no, thank you. I just want to listen. But often that they come in hand with the way that spirit works through me. I do have one main guide who identifies more masculine when he speaks, but a lot of times he'll say we, meaning he's also speaking for a collective or a group of beautiful spiritual essences that want to come forward to give like a group message for all of you. I may take a few minutes to get into that space, in which case a couple of things that you guys can do is you can observe to see if there's any like facial changes in me that you might see, like we would call overshadowing. And then so you may see some changes in the way that I look. You may perhaps see that my arms may move and come up if they're wanting to do healing. They could do healing and not move my arms, but they can do both. So it just really is the way that they want to do it. Now, for you, another thing that you may want to pay attention to is what you're experiencing in the atmosphere around you in your space, because we are all connected in that way. So you may start to say, wow, I'm feeling like really sleepy. Like all of a sudden this energy is feeling a little bit heavier or a little bit more weighty or dense around me. That's actually very common with trance. So if you feel like I'm trying so hard to pay attention, I'm trying so hard to hear what's being said, that's okay. That's just because you're feeling that, abundance of spirit around you too. That's a good thing as well. Sometimes you might feel temperature changes. Could get colder, it could get warmer, it could feel a little bit more revved up or a little bit more buzzy around you too. So it's fun to sort of have a little bit of an experience of what's happening around me with the power. So when we call it the power, it feels very much like energy, but I like to say it's beyond energy. But it is that sensation of the power that does help you to know something is happening, that this is very real. Like the power helps to give like the evidence of the spirit around you too. And that said, you may feel nothing, but you're feeling connected to the words. You're feeling the love. Waves of love can come through with spirit as well. So that's also something that you can tune into. You might feel that waves of love around you, or become aware of your own loved ones. You might become aware of your own spirit helpers or angels around you too, or just the presence of the divine. So all of that is wonderful. And so those are things you can do to keep you busy while I'm kind of moving into that deeper space. I might take just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
My voice may change. It may not. Either way, it's still working. So I just never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and just let that go now. Okay. That was good timing. As soon as I got done explaining it, you were back. So, okay. All right. Hello, dear friends.
Hello. Welcome.
Indeed, thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Would you like to start by telling us anything, or should we go into questions, or whatever you want to do?
This time, I would like to share a few words for your group
Thank you.
and those who will listen at another time. As you know, all is divinely inspired, and everyone shall hear what is needed at the time they hear it. I come with great love and I share with you that you are all surrounded in this love. This love that encompasses each and every one of you is beyond that which you may fully understand, but it is there nonetheless. Love is who you are. Love is what you are made of. Love is what drives your being. Love is beyond that which has been defined, beyond words. It is beyond the beyond. You all are on a path, a divine way that you have been chosen to lead, to go forth in, to journey in, to traverse. You are following your destiny, and therefore, nothing has gone wrong. Everything has brought you to this moment in time, right now, to hear the divine say to you, hello, we are not different. We are all love. I am you. You are I. We are we, all as one, made from love. Many of you have been on this path for quite some time. Much knowing has grown and collected over time. But all of that knowing, everything that you read, everything that you watch, all brings you back to self. It brings you back to your heart, to that which began the journey from all time. In other words, we go out, we come back in, we go out, we come back in. We follow the heartbeat of the universe to speak. Life is very much out and in, out and in, out and in. As we spoke of earlier, we forget, we remember. We forget, we remember. We feel, we don't feel. We feel everything, we feel nothing. This is part of your experiential reality as beings from the divine. Your life is beautiful. Your life is meaningful. Every part of you matters. Every cell of your being matters. You identify as matter, and that matter matters because it is all conscious awareness manifesting itself as you in the most beautiful and glorious way. How is that to remember? How is that in your feeling of self, in your heart? The wonder of you is in everything and everyone. You have times where you will feel small, and you have times where you will feel big. And it all matters. It is all important. It is helpful to at times feel small. For have you ever looked upon a body of water or the stars in the sky and realized how big everything is around you? And you feel very small in that moment. But we remind you this to understand the massive expansiveness of your world, and it is beyond that, is important in itself because it awakens, so to speak, the awareness of in you, of with you, of who you are and what you are part of. And that is magnificent in itself. And there are times where you will feel your bigness and your allness because you are very open in that moment. And the divine is expressing itself in you in a very large and magnanimous way. And it will feel wonderful and perhaps at times even a little scary because of that bigness is unfamiliar to you. And all of it is important. It is a back and forth. It is the all of things. You experience duality in your physical reality, but in that duality, it is a broad spectrum, so to speak, that goes out in all directions. And there are infinite possibilities of expression and perception and perspective to be experienced. And you are all doing it together. You are all connected in this journey of oneness, love, expansive awareness together. You experience your own story, and you will carry that story beyond your physical reality, for you will get to continue your perception of you. It will be different when you are no longer in a physical body, but you will get to carry that story, as you have said earlier, with you. But your story is incredibly complex and connected with all other stories. You experience stories within stories. Your dream world is a story within a story. Your waking dream world is a story within story. The characters in your story, you are a character in their story. And all stories interconnect in a grand tapestry of the divine. How is that to hear? Wonderful, I hope you perceive.
Wow.
We would like also to express to you that in the great transformation you have spoken of earlier, we do confirm it is a grand transformation. You could say it has sped up, so to speak. But in that speeding up, so to speak, many have deepened in their awareness of self. And this is resulting in great transformation of individual and collective perceptive realities of the story within itself. And therefore, many are experiencing darkness. Many do not understand this darkness. They fear it. They worry about it. They long to be out of it. This is understandable, for it is not an easy journey. It is very difficult indeed. Indeed, it is. But the darkness is not an enemy. It is not an evil force that has come to harm you. For your higher self will put you into darkness. You are your higher self. But in that experience of darkness, the deeper you move through it, you do indeed find the pot of gold buried deep down inside the depths of your being, we must say. And in that pot of gold, you will know you, and you will know your creator, and you will know there is nothing outside of you that can harm your divinity, your energy, your spirituality. For you may have experiences in life that give you bruises and scrapes and hurt feelings, but nothing can actually harm the inconquerable spirit that is you. And within that darkness, you will learn more love. You will learn more compassion. You will learn more connection in your humanity to yourself, to others, to the world. It is a gift that you have been given, even though it does not feel that way when you are in it. So we remind you this: in that darkness, you may feel alone. You may feel depressed. You may feel lower than low. You may feel as if you are pushed so deep down in the dark waters that you are actually below the surface of the ocean. But the hand of the divine holds you in that every step of the way. Consider it the ultimate illusion. The darkness is the ultimate illusion that will bring you forward into the truth of your light. Light can appear in itself as love and joy and beauty. But when you have been through the darkness, you will understand the depth of the light. You will understand the strength of the light in a way you never thought possible. We promise you this. God, Spirit, Source abandons no one ever. It does not matter how good or how bad. Those are labels. No one is ever abandoned in life or at the end of physical experience. Everyone makes it to where they're supposed to go. There are few sayings in life that you can know for yourselves to be true always. And that is this: the divine exists within you. It always has. You are you, and you have an experience of you from beginning of life until end, and that experience will continue. But you have been so from the beginning until the unending end. You have always been that. You have always been that. And you are indeed never alone, never abandoned, never alone, never have been, never will be, are not now. We promise you that. You are inconquerable. You are beautiful. You are perfect in your beingness. And whatever you consider about self or others to be imperfect, it is all right. You are having your experience. What can you do to make it better? How can you make the perceived imperfection better? Find more love for yourself. Find more empowerment for yourself. Accept help from others. Give help to others. Create space from others. All of it is okay. Whatever is helping you on your journey of self-love and empowerment and compassion for others. is getting you to your destination. And understand, you may not understand the path and the journey of others, and you may bow your head down in disbelief. That is okay. That is where we say, maybe just give it to Spirit. You do not understand it. You cannot accept it. Give it to Spirit. Let us take care of that for you. And spend some time, you, us. Let us fill you once again. For many of you, give and give and give and give, and receiving is a little difficult, I would say, yes. But we will fill you. How about we say, give once more, give us, give Spirit a little bit of time, 5 minutes. Since you're so good at giving, we ask you for 5 minutes, but in return, we will fill you in that 5 minutes. And then you can give more from that. Any questions, my dear?
Yes, thank you so much. Wow, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you. Yes, let me ask. Well, there's so many things I'd like to ask you, but because it's my first time connecting with you, is there anything? And I know every guide is different. Would you like to tell us anything about yourselves, or yourselves?
I go by the name Daniel. Many who are close know me. And it is, shall I say, an honor and excitement to share more of me, so to speak, with all of you. Sometimes I come through in a more feminine aspect, as in this realm or reality, shall we speak, we really are not masculine or feminine, but this is how I come forward most of the time. Many experience me in a very angelic form, so to speak, but please do not use that as better than other forms of awareness I may ask of you. But it is how many experience the essence of me, so to speak. Does this help you understand me?
Very much. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you. I'm honored that you've shared a bit about yourself with us, and I feel your energy so profoundly. It's really amazing. So I had this question even before the medium went into trance. So I'm going to ask you, what does spirit do in spirit? And I'll just give that to you, however you want to answer that. My guides are playing with me. They're the ones that gave me that question. I'm just letting you know.
A wonderful, wonderful, and perfect question. I would say the answer to be endless, for there are many possibilities of how spirit can express itself in its nature over on, shall I say, this side of life, so to speak. And when I say so to speak, it's because we're using terminology that is not quite accurate, but is helpful for the purposes of understanding and awareness, shall I say. So in spirit, possibilities are many of what can be done, experienced, accomplished, so to speak, shall I say. Now, much in the spirit form of life is very focused on watching, helping, assisting your form of life and others that are, say, out there. For the creator is very indeed creative. The creator can be anything and anyone at any time, shall I say. Now, when you experiencing yourself in human form, shift your consciousness to that of the spiritual form of awareness. There are possibilities to be chosen from. You can imagine your reality in different ways. It will be less physical, but you can still imagine it in ways that remind you of your physical lifetime, so to speak, shall I say. When you transition, shall I say, so to speak, you are now reaffirming your oneness. That means you will become much more consciously aware of your entire experience and how it all worked. In other words, that coin that was spoken of earlier, there is no space in between. Now you understand. However, what you call your higher self can still will itself to shift a little bit, to have slightly more immersive experiences. In other words, say you had an artistic inclination in your human lifetime, but yet did not get to fully express that artistic inclination, you certainly will have the opportunity to do that once you have passed on into the spirit realm, so to speak. And you can do it in many, many ways with many opportunities and no limitations. Or your spiritual artistic inclination can just continue on and find itself in different ways. Or maybe you will go on to guide others who are in the physical reality with their artistic inclination. Do you understand this as I say it?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, it is difficult to express in vocabulary everything that the spirit is, as you can imagine. But as we have shown your medium, who is speaking right now with us, as we speak through her with her, the answers to questions are very seldom yes or no. It is everything in between and all around and everywhere. There are many different ways to look at things, but what we can promise you is that it is good and it is love. There is nothing in spirit realm that is harmful to anybody in your realm. Many question this. Many do not understand this. So I go off topic just a little bit, but yet it is important to understand what it is like, say, over here. Experiences that are feeling spiritually dark are immersive experiences still part of your physical reality. In other words, it is not the full truthful aspect of the spirituality. For instance, you are experiencing spiritual darkness for a reason. But once you pass on to the spirit side of light, none of that is existing for you. It is of the light. It is of the oneness. But it will be indeed, in fact, quite beyond what you ever dreamed or thought possible in your awareness as you know it now. We can promise you that. Everybody will make it over here upon transitioning, for it is merely a shift in consciousness. There is no other place to go but here when you shift in your consciousness. It is here, but it is fun. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. And you will have the opportunity to say, finish your dreams or fulfill your dreams or continue your dreams or try new things. Many are surprised when their loved ones come forth and say, this is what I'm doing now. And you say, but you weren't that way in life. Are you sure this is my loved one you speak of? And we say, yes, for why not? Why not try something new? Why not? But of course, it is fun to try new things because you are, in fact, a multi-self, beyond multi, shall I say. Everything and anything is possible, but we tell you it is good. It is based in love. It is based in the light and beyond the light. You are encompassed. in that beauty and in that light. But we will say, all of your loved ones are held in hands of great beauty. So if you wonder, are they okay? Are they happy? Are they at peace? The answer is yes. And anyone who may have harmed you in lifetime will not harm you from the spirit. They just cannot. It does not work that way. They come back into their oneness, and it is a beautiful, beautiful reality to be in. No one in this side of life can come here until it is their time, my beautiful souls. So please do not blame others for when it is their time, for we do not always understand the story and the why of things, but at one point you will. Now, as you can see, my dear one, I answer questions very, very lengthy in nature. I do apologize, but that is how I roll, shall to say, should I say, so to speak.
Thank you. I'm so great. Honestly, I'm crying. Your energy is, oh my goodness. Oh, very much. Okay, questions. We do have some questions, and it seems like you've actually touched upon the two questions that are doing this, right? That are right here. But I'm going to ask them because I feel it's a little bit different. So Jeep Thang from YouTube asks, do they know, how much time we have left on this planet? And I feel like that's a general question. Does Spirit know how much time any of us have left here?
One moment, we are deepening our connection just a little bit.
I understand. I hear that. Does the medium need to take care of the dog or something? Or is everything okay?
It is all right.
Okay.
The time you have left is a question that we shall answer in a slightly unusual way. For as you probably understand, and we do know you do understand, time is an illusion within itself. So what you are perceiving as beginnings and endings and in a linear fashion is not really so. Correct. Yes. So how much time do each of you have? How much time does the planet have? You can take your measurements through your scientists, but we will suggest that, as you know, measurements, predictions change over time. What was once thought to be true before is not always true now, for you have more information coming in, and you might say this information builds upon itself as more information becomes available to you. But we say it is even more than that. For understand, if your reality is not what you perceive it to be, it has movement in it. In other words, it is flexible. In other words, what people are experiencing in their reality. Let us move a little bit deeper. What others are experiencing in their reality may not be the same for other ones they know or do not know. In other words, it is changeable. Your physical reality is not what many perceive it to be. And that is all right. You are meant to be perceiving it as you are. It is not a mistake. It is not wrong how you are perceiving it to be. But to give you an answer to that question is to basically make a prediction. But the creator itself can change anything at any time, and you would not know the difference. We give you, for an example, collective memory changes over time. Some groups of people remember instances different from other groups of people. Now, your scientists will explain this And this is good because that is a perspective that is meant to be explored. But we may suggest that maybe there is reason to this. For example, you are perceiving your reality through perception, through the channeling of your higher self, of what is meant to be for your life and for your story. The emotions you are experiencing are beyond your brain. The feelings, thoughts, awarenesses are beyond your brain. Therefore, many things are occurring all at once, different from others. Each individual essence perceives their reality differently. Each individual essence perceives their reality differently. The only one who has the full expression of understanding of the ultimate reality is the creator of the reality itself. Now, you may say, but don't we create our reality? We have been taught this. Well, yes, you do. You create your reality, but you do it in partnership with that which created you. You are not separate from that. So if you create your reality and it does not work, well, then it was not meant to work. It is not your fault. But if you create your reality and magic happens, well, wow, how wonderful is that? So you can enjoy the creating of your reality, the magic, the wonderfulness, the beauty, the awe, and the excitement, but do not blame yourself if it doesn't work, because you have not done anything wrong. For understand, you experience the balance in your lifetime. You will experience the opposites. It works, it doesn't work. I like this, I do not like that. That feels good, that does not feel good. We give you another example. You may have large families, and yet the parenting is the same within the family, but the siblings that share the collective experience of that family unit will have very different experiences and very different perceptions of those experiences. Some will say, my life is very difficult. Some will say, it wasn't that bad. Some will say, I'm somewhere in between. So there is a higher force at play within your reality of reality. So when will it end? Well, that depends on the creator and what the creator would like to choose for it to happen. So you may get a measurement with your scientists saying we will last so many millions or billions of years, depending on the sun itself, when the life force runs out. However, if your reality is movable, has movement within it, well, then who's to say when anything is going to happen? Do you understand this, my dear? We do believe you do.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. Do we have time for another question?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is from Kimmy, who asked, Daniel, you spoke of going through darkness. Are we creating our own reality? And can we also create happiness and joy? And thank you.
Happiness and joy is forever your destiny, my darling, may I say. It is your destiny, and you will arrive there at some point or another. Every individual essence of consciousness will. We may say that the experience of happiness and joy is very much a connectedness with the divine that you are experiencing. Yet it is not wrong to experience periods of darkness, for it will in fact increase the periods of joyfulness and happiness. It will make those periods more intensive for you. In other words, you will experience a joy like no other. Joy has depths to it as well. And you will get to experience joy deeper and deeper and deeper as you move forward in your destiny, your journey, your path, your vision that you share with the higher self of you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Wow. I could talk to you for a long time. Just being in your energy is just amazing. I really just saying I'm just so happy that Daniel came in to talk to us. Thank you very much, Daniel, for coming in. Yes, I agree. Is there any amazing. You've already given us so much wisdom. But is there anything else that you'd like to share with us before we? I don't want to. I mean, we're not ending anything, but anyway, before our conversation shifts.
I would like to offer my abundant gratitude for the opportunity to commune with all of you. Honor and gratitude goes both ways, shall I say. It is as if we are looking at each other in the mirror, for I am you and you are me. And together we are creating a most beautiful and glorious reality. It is fun to rhyme, my dear. And you all, please listen to this. You are the beauty in the flower. You are the twinkle in the stars. You are the depth of emotion in the moonlight, reflecting the joyous brilliance of the sunlight. You are the seeds of the earth being planted, and you will grow into many forms of life that are wonderful. You are the heart of the animal kingdom. You are the everything of soul and wisdom and beauty. You are that which created you, and that which created you is also you. Please do not worry. Please know that even if you're sad, Spirit is there to dry your tears. Spirit is there to bring comfort and peace, for many, many, many are praying for more peace. And I do tell you, it is there for you. It is here now. We are blanketing each and every one of you in a blanket of loving peace and tranquility. And we do hope that you feel it. And we let you know that through all of the difficulties of these past times, there is light for you. There are gifts for you. And life has a very funny way of working itself out. Indeed. So you are along for the ride, experiencing it all as you. And if you knew the whole plan, it would not be as fun. So fasten your seatbelts. You have a joyous journey ahead. Well done, you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you. What an honor. I can't see it too.
I will open my eyes in just a minute. I'm just
take your time. That was incredible. That's some of the most powerful energy I've
felt. Okay, I'm just bringing it down. Bringing it down. Okay. Wow.
While Daniel was talking, it's like oh my gosh, I felt like everything. Except I wasn't in trance, but I felt so much. And then I was sitting here I swear, a couple of times I got tears. I'm like, what is going on? And it wasn't even like a sad thing. It was a cathartic thing. like the first time that happened was when I asked a question and Daniel, I have to paraphrase, but basically told me that it was a great question or the perfect whatever, and so that spoke to the inner child in me that was insecure about it. I confidently felt like I was good, but all of a sudden he said it was okay, and I'm like, oh man. Wow. Amazing. So Daniel is from the angelic realm. Awesome. So
Never surprised, always amazed. That's my girlfriend. That's what we say together. Never surprised, always amazed, because they keep bringing more and more magic, and you're like, there it is again. I'm not surprised because the magic is always, but I'm always amazed because it's so brand new again. Thank you, Fran.
It's a great quote. I will use that. Never surprised, always amazed. That speaks to me very loudly. Oh my goodness. The energy was very much felt. Right? Oh my goodness. Abuelita says, do you think Daniel would like to work with me in channeling?
He is very gracious and giving. So my friends who I am in like private trance circles with, he's very much become their guides as well. So he's happy to spread the love and the wealth around. So absolutely, you can call on him, and he would be more than happy to work with you. Absolutely.
Do you teach as well, don't you?
I do. I teach mediumship and platform and trance healing as well. I love teaching. It's so much fun.
I love that. I'd like some of that energy to rub off on me. That I love teaching. What I do is teaching, then suddenly I feel like I don't know what to do. But when I just do what I do, I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah, that's how I work too. Same as you, Megan. I don't know what they're going to do, and they don't let me prepare anymore. I just know. Okay, I just follow the direction and go with it there. Yeah, that way too. I wanted to offer, I do like once a month, I'm going to be putting on the schedule probably this weekend. I do a group healing meditation. And so we sit in the power, which helps people learn to expand their intuition. And then I put a little music on, and Spirit works through me to send trance healing to the group. And then we do a channeled message at the end. It might be a little lighter and quite a bit shorter than this one. But it's another opportunity to be part of that same kind of energetic experience again, and it's free. So we love that if anyone wants to join.
Yeah, I do actually. Okay. Just to be, but you want to know, I mean, honestly, I could have talked to him all night. I could have just listened and just happily like threw out a maybe or another question or whatever, and just like, oh my God, the answers were just amazing.
Oh, he would talk to you all night too. He would go for hours.
And it's incredible because everything he was asking, the things that were coming up, I mean, your eyes were closed. I mean, of course I know all, but that always, what was that? Never, there it is, never surprised, always amazed. That's what's happening again. Because I'm like, even though I know you're in trance and I know, but yet I'm looking at the questions I've written down, the ones on the screen. I'm like, well, there goes another one. Check.
That's awesome.
The answers were so profound. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I felt it so strong. Oh, Julie says, can you please put a link? Would love to join.
Oh yeah. For the meditation, it's mediumjenniferrose.com. And I'm going to be putting it'll be not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, but I still need to put it on the schedule. So if you go on my website by say Sunday, it should be on there by then. I'm working on getting my schedule updated right now. I've just been really busy. So, yeah.
So mediumjenniferrose.com. I'm pulling put this up on
it'll
the screen.
It'll be in 2 Wednesdays on 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that's like 1 p.m. Eastern, and depending, I think the UK will have we're 7 hours, but we're usually 8 hours. I think there'll be 8 hours by then. It'll be 6 UK by then, I'm pretty sure.
So what is the date on that?
Oh gosh.
Or what is the date? When is it? Because I've got a calendar in front of me. So what day were you saying?
It would be. Let me look for you. My brain is the 29th. It'll be the 29th. I'll be putting it on the schedule for the 29th, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's for an hour.
That's
so is it? Happy birthday, see Megan. You can be our special guest of honor.
All right, so I'll put it on my own schedule. Okay, so what time is it again? I'm sorry.
It will be 10 a.m. Pacific. I'll put it on the schedule tonight. I'll make sure it gets done. It only takes
Eastern, right?
1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Putting this on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I could read my own writing. Not really, but okay. 1 p.m. Sorry, everybody. I'm just putting it on my own calendar while the whole world just sits and watches me. Everybody's doing that. Who else is writing right now? The day and the time.
Oh yeah, I'm just seeing a message. Cosmic being on your left side. That's Daniel. Call him an angel. Call him cosmic. It's all good. Yeah.
I didn't see that one. Let me see.
Colin. I was just drawn to his comments. So yeah, that's him. Yeah.
So that's Daniel outside.
Yeah. He's very lovely. He's very funny too. He loves chocolate.
Wow. Have you eaten trance? Now I'm totally fascinated. So wait a minute. So how does
I know
chocolate through you?
I have to stay away from it. I used to be kind of addicted to it, so maybe that was because of him. I don't know. He hasn't shared that with me, but with some of my friends who I have our private circles with, they talk about chocolate together. So however he enjoys it, I don't know.
Oh my God, that's great! I love it. I can't wait to talk to Daniel again, and I want to connect with him, on my own and see if, because I just love his energy. Wow.
Thank you. I do too. I do too.
Oh goodness, gosh, that must feel amazing to be you right now with the energy just flowing.
I do feel very blessed. But all beings that come and channel, like they're all part of something beautiful. So like everybody's like doing their part on this side, on that side. We're all doing our part,
I love that. And I'm really just saying, wow, Daniel really hit my heart. Mine too. And I want to work with him so bad. I just call out his name. I just call his name out loud and ask for him to please come and help me out.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're feeling that desire, that means he's thinking of you too, I'm sure. So it goes both ways. A lot of times when we think, oh, I just thought of my grandma in spirit all of a sudden, a lot of times that's grandma thinking about you and you're making that connection. Yeah. So
I had that earlier with my mom where I suddenly thought, oh, I wish I had something with her handwriting on it. And I picked up this note and a cheer. And I'm like, oh, hi, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's because Mom is right here,
Yeah, she literally is right there with you right now. She's so totally there with you.
Wow, that's cool.
She's amazing.
Hi, Mom. Really cool. So you see spirit, like with your...
Yeah, well, just as soon as you started like talking about her, I just had this like claircognizant awareness, like she was there with you with this just big, beautiful smile and just so full of love too. If I tune in, I can through my mind's eye, I can tune into like kind of perceiving sort of what's around you or what's in like the auric field and what's going on there. So it just depends on like sort of what the intention is, so to speak.
That's extremely cool.
Yeah, I know.
What's around me?
Oh, okay. Let me see. What would you like to do? Let's see. Okay. Well, it's interesting because right now, as I tune into it's literally like your crown chakra. It's got that beautiful deep blue that's coming like right through it. So when I see that, it's like very obvious to me that you're a medium, but that you also can do channeling and go into trance. I mean, it's literally just like, like this column of like deep blue, purplish light that's around you too. You have a lot of like pink around you too. So your own sensitivity is quite, what I want to say, buoyant, the way it flows like this, it flows in and out. But it's all beautiful and it's all clear. So I know like when we worry if like there's anything that can get it can't, because it's like that. It's just this flow and this movement around you, almost marshmallowy the way that it goes. But I'm very aware that you have like two helpers. As I look, they're over on your left. You've got kind of two helpers that are there with you right now that are your like spirit guides, I shall say. But they have been with you for a very long time. They love working for you. One is more masculine, one is more feminine, but like they're very, not solidly like that, as I should say. And they're very angelic in their qualities as well for you too. You have a lot of golden within you too. So I know you're very much of a teacher, and you're also a lifetime learner and seeker, as I tune into that as well for you. And your ability to heal has been with you since before you were even born. You were emitting vibrations of healing from even before birth, because that's quite clear and evident as I tune into your space and your divine nature. Now, you're very much one who has been called upon to be somebody who helps to spread awareness on a global level. So it's not surprising that you have this program that you do where you're bringing in all of the thinkers and the spiritual leaders expressing all of the divine wisdom in its many different forms and facets too. And you have that same ability to be that speaker and that giver and that sharer of wisdom as well. It's like all there for you. So I'm hearing you're like the total package. And I know that you are somebody who is very tuned into love, and because they show me Valentine's Day as being very much like the essence of you and your expression, because you're very tuned into love and how can I be love and how can I help other people know love more too. So that's I think one of the reasons why you and I click so well, because I'm very into the love aspect as well. So yeah. Yay, you're awesome.
By the way, can people book sessions with you, like mediumship sessions and stuff, on your website as well?
Yeah.
Hey, I need
the way I do it now, you just have to fill in a contact form, and then we'll correspond by email to set up a time that works for you. I try to be flexible with people. So that's the way I'm doing it now. It may change later, but that's how I do it now. So just fill in a contact form with your name and email and let me know, and then I'll connect with you that way. I like the sort of one-on-one approach, so it works for me. Yeah.
That's I book my client, not through email, but on Messenger generally. I mean, so I know what you mean. Nobody's doing it for me, and it's not automated. Yeah. Thing that it would never be, but I also like to connect and to feel that they, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. Oh my God. I just love you. I just think you're amazing.
I love you too.
I'm so glad we're connected. Oh my God. I can't believe the time just flies by. Okay, so I wanted to ask you like a million things. Will you come back again another day?
Anytime. I love doing this stuff, so anytime.
Because I know later on I'm going to be like, oh, I should have asked that, because I had so many. There's just so many. I feel like I can ask you anything. I feel very, very open with your energy. So with you and Daniel too, and it's just a beautiful similarity where I feel like it's very comfortable, and we both hold space really well, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's why I appreciate you so much. I feel so comfortable with you. And I think together, like a lot of times people come and they're like, this is really weird, but they need someone to tell someone that their strange experience that they just had. And I'm kind of like the person who's like, nothing's too weird for me. They go, and so I feel like you're that way too. So this could be a place where people could come to say, hey, this really strange thing happened, and see what we can maybe work with that to help in a greater understanding of that too. So, hey, Trixie.
I remember one thing I wanted to ask you. Okay. A while ago, you were talking about, you didn't say the words, I live an intuitive life, but that's in my mind. So where I allow sorry, Trixie, whatever. She's perfect. Just the way she is. And
she is.
So what now, the way I am now, I invite people on my show through intuition. You I've known for years, but like, other guests, I may just draw, I'm drawn, and then later on I find out that they wrote a book or something like that, but I was just drawn to them at the time. I'm living my life extremely intuitively. Like I wake up I've been waking up and going to sleep without a clock for years now, but everything, it started out like several years ago, but now it's like, I'm just trusting my whole life to spirit. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do today? I know everything's going to be okay. So Trixie, even if Trixie is going to push my thing around, I know everything is okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, so how do you live an intuitive life? And are you finding yourself living a more intuitive life now, even than before? Or if you always lived, like, I feel this or I feel that?
Yeah, it's interesting because like I think I was saying earlier, like I have a little bit of the sometimes I'm deeper in like the physical 3D kind of world, and then sometimes I'm feeling more connected as well. So I can go back and forth, but I always know I'm connected, but I'm still in sort of different levels of how deep I kind of feel with that too. But I do, like you, like everything with my spiritual work is always done intuitively. Like I don't really plan it anymore. I just do it. It's kind of automatic. The same, like, I think that's what you're saying is we do things kind of automatically. And so, that's how you kind of know like things haven't gone wrong, because like it's just kind of happened automatically. Like, and that's where you start to get connected with the higher self as you. So I always know they're just going to show me what I'm supposed to do. And sometimes, if they're wanting me to write something down, then, and I'm tuned in, it's like automatic writing. I'm just writing it and like, oh, well, that's interesting what you're saying. It feels like me writing it, but I know it's something else flowing through me that's writing. So that's where that intuition, it's very cool and fun how that works. Yeah. And so, but I'm very appreciative, like with life, because life, just because we're in this business that we're in doesn't mean like our lives are perfect and we don't have any problems, or anything. We still get our feelings hurt, all this kind of stuff. And it is helpful when we know we're connected. It is helpful to kind of have that there sort of in the background where you can kind of watch the experience too from that part of you. And so at least like, we're gonna, we'll get through this experience. There'll be like the light at the end of the tunnel, or so to speak, kind of thing too. So that's helpful to have that extra bit of intuition, because not everybody is having that experience, and they're just completely feeling like they're in it all the time. So I think we're a little bit fortunate to be able to have that intuitive connection.
I agree. Thank you. Yeah. That was and yes, I totally resonate. Colin is asking, could I ask of how much of what was spoken are you conscious of? Thank you. Trixie, she gave me a kiss.
That's so cute. Yeah. I can remember bits and pieces of it. I don't remember all of it, but if you were to start telling me like you said this or Daniel said this, then I would be like, okay, it would start to kind of come back to me. So it's sort of there in the ethers, but I have a kind of a limited awareness of it too. So I do remember some bits. He was talking about reality. He was talking about darkness, the law of attraction kind of thing. That's about all I remember them kind of pushing me back a little bit, because I was getting a little bit more conscious, I think, because there was a little bit of background noise, but I was just waiting a minute to let them kind of like, okay, wait a minute. So, and then I can feel the power like going like this, where we were coming in a little stronger. So
it was amazing. And the dog, I guess with the dog, just, relaxed, and I actually said healing as well to the dog at that moment, thinking, but it was.
Yeah. She's like, let me in. I want to be in the energy. It's okay.
Oh, she was out. I thought she was in. And
no, she was out wanting to come back in. I think it's dinner time. It's like, Mom, feed me.
I love that. Well, we're almost done. But oh my goodness, this is such a great evening, I swear. I believe this is like chocolate, but she can eat all my husband's chocolate. My husband loves those little those little ducks are good. Now I want a chocolate. Daniel, is that you?
Probably.
Chocolate. What's going on with that?
God's gift to the world is chocolate and coffee. And dogs and cats.
Right? Yeah. Dogs and cats. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so perfect. Okay, Jeep thing. We have a few more minutes. You okay with that? We have like 8 more minutes.
Sure. Yeah, sure. My pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you. So Jeep thing asks, does she have to see you to get insights like that? So that question came in while you were reading my energy. So she wanted to know.
I could probably do it without looking at you. I probably could. It's just that it's easier for me that way in my conscious mind. But let me think. Yeah, I could not have to see you. Yeah. Yeah, I could do it.
I knew that was going to be your answer. I just, because I do read it. Obviously, I do a lot of live stream readings and stuff. So I'm very used to. I've been reading for people that I couldn't see for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
guess that's just my calling. I don't know, but but my private sessions are not all the time. If the person doesn't want to be face to face, then we do audio or something. But majority of my client sessions.
Yeah, I do most things on Zoom. I like having the connection of being able to see you. It makes it a better experience for me too. I like teaching. When I teach, I have everyone on camera so we can all connect. It's nice to see each other.
I agree. I agree. So, is there anything that you're teaching now? Any classes that you have coming up that you want to?
I have a couple circles, like regular practice circles on the schedule. I just did a mediumship workshop. I'll probably have another one maybe like in 2 months, because a couple people couldn't come to this last one. It's pretty fun. The workshops are pretty fun. I really try to create an environment where everyone feels really safe and like no pressure, and they feel like really like comfortable with each other. That's my goal, is to try to create that, because when we're trying to expand our intuition, we're really worried about like what other people are thinking. So if we can take all that pressure off and create that little container of acceptance, and everyone can just kind of flow and like be themselves. So I try really hard, because I remember how I felt when I used to be in development. It was like such a, you get kind of insecure and all of that. And so I try to help us not have to be in that so much, so that's a lot of fun. I'll be doing a platform pretty soon too, for people who want to do platform. And I'll be doing trance healing too as well. So it's just kind of be on the look. You can subscribe to my newsletter, and then I'll let people know like when I'm doing stuff, or you can just find me on Facebook and it'll show up when it's ready. I just wait for Spirit to say, put this on the schedule, and I go, okay, and we do. So
I'm going to put your Facebook page on the drop your Facebook link down there too. But I totally get this. So that's so interesting, because one of the things that I've been tossing around, which is really, you've addressed it a couple of times, and it's amazing, is that I'm like, how am I supposed? They want me to teach. And I remember I told you the teach word.
Yes.
They want me to teach, but I've been asking them, how do I teach when I don't know what I'm going to be teaching? How do I announce that? How do I say I've got a class on Friday? Would you like to come? Here's some, I don't even know what it's going to be about. And so, but I'm understanding more and more to trust Spirit. And so everything you said tonight is so confirming and affirming that's exactly what they've been telling me to do.
Yeah, so true. I know it's hard when we don't know. We're like, what are you going to talk about? Like, what are we going to do? You just have to trust them that it's all going to fall into place.
They literally just showed me the structure, like the foundation and the supports, and that's what thank you, Spirit. And I guess that's what it is. I'm just like I do with these live streams. I don't have these, planned other than I invite my awesome guest, and and we talk.
Yeah, I remember you were saying like, if you build it, they will come, which is, I love that saying. And that's why I could tell that's what just happened. You're like, if I build it, they will come.
And that's what they said that day when in chat with you. And, because they felt concerned, and it's like, you build it. And there it is.
I know, exactly.
I'm tongue tied today. I don't know why. Maybe it's Daniel's amazing energy. But this has been an incredible experience. Okay, that's a quick question. Would you refer to this as channeling or trance?
I use the terms pretty interchangeably, because, and we're all channeling. We just don't realize we're doing it. But like what I was doing there is a more concerted effort, like to be doing it sort of on demand or on command at a deeper level of where we're making that deeper, stronger connection. But sometimes in the mediumship world, they call it like trance speaking, and there's different forms of that where, a message of philosophy will come through from a helper or a guide, or sometimes a loved one can even come through and start speaking directly through you. Sometimes the guide can come through and be a medium, and they're doing the mediumship with you in the background, just letting them do it. So there's different ways they can work. Doing it through healing, doing it through automatic writing. Sometimes when people hear the word channeling, they think a little bit more in the terms of like, this could be someone from a different dimension, or it could be an ET, or it could be Mother Mary. But those are all, they're all beings coming, from the divine, or from that oneness coming through. So to me, it's all of the same thing. It just, sometimes people, they like to parse it out in their little way, but to me, it's the same thing. And the more open-minded we can be, I think the more magic we get to experience. The only thing I will say sometimes with trance and channeling is that I know that the higher consciousness loves to give things in sometimes rhymes and riddles sometimes, and sometimes messages are meant to be look between the lines for the hidden meanings or the deeper meanings. So sometimes when we may hear messages and we think it means this, there may actually be a deeper, even more substantial meaning behind it. And sometimes you can go back and re-listen to things and get another different perception or perspective of what you heard. So sometimes there's more to me, there's more in there than we even realize, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely. So, okay, we have like 2 minutes. Did you want to say something, or I want to have a question? So,
Nope.
how do you? Because you really are an incredible trance medium. So, how long have you been practicing to get to where you are now, or do you have a certain amount of certain time you sit every week to?
I think I took like my first trance workshop when I was about like 6 months into my mediumship development, going back into like 2016 to 2017. And I was going to circles, and then I started. Me and a few friends kind of formed a private circle. A lot of that was around COVID time too, and that was really nice to have like a private circle to be in with a couple of your like besties, because you feel so comfortable and relaxed. You're not worried about what's going to happen. Is it me or is it spirit? Did I do it right? All of that kind of, you feel much more comfortable, and that really allows like the openness to come. And so, yeah, I have been practicing it all this time, going through transformation of my own, but also kind of helped that along when I started kind of going into some deeper levels of transformation. I found that everything got a lot more open for me too. So that was my journey, but it might be different for other people too.
Cool. So so 2016. So you do because I have a lot of friends from the UK that channel or whatever, and some have been doing it for like 20 years or whatever, and I've even heard some people, one person, doesn't matter, say, oh, it takes years to develop, and I think that's what you believe, and that's your reality. But
that's what I used to think that too. Yeah, and I think I used to say that. And I think like, because some people can go like way deeper than I did, to where they remember nothing. They are so out that they don't even remember anything. I haven't gotten to that space just yet. And there's certainly more room for me to grow in my trance too. And I don't know how long that will take. But it kind of depends on your experience. So, for me, I went through a very kind of intense like transformation within myself. And that really just like sped things up for me. Like I kind of got like a crash, but that wasn't easy. So sometimes they're like, well, bring that to me. I'm not necessarily, it's not necessarily, Gopi Krishna, when he was going through his Kundalini awakening, and he's written books, he started channeling poems and stories in different languages, and his experience, I think, was pretty darn difficult. And it spanned over a few years. But like that stuff that he was getting, like, it's amazing. Like all of that was happening. Like, it's like, wow.
That doesn't know who we're speaking about right now.
He wrote a lot of books on the Kundalini awakening. And if people want to call it a different experience, they can label it whatever they want. But, from what I understand, I'm not like an expert on him, but just from what I have learned, like that was part of his experience. And he just became such an open channel that he was, things coming in through different languages, all kinds of stuff coming in. I think it was Edward Casey who could like memorize a book without having to read it, like stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, that stuff's amazing.
I literally would sleep on the book and then wake up and have all the knowledge and be able to recite.
Like, that's amazing. I'll take it.
See, some of my favorite books on my bed. Like I have a little shelf on the headboard, and I sleep with like The Seed of the Soul and The Alchemist. They're just right there. Not like I have read them, but I just feel like I just want to absorb. Like your case.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have had so much fun. I wish this wasn't over, but But I would love for you to come back and do this again. Maybe you want to do reading sometimes. I don't know if that ever resonates with you.
I'm a yes person, so if I can do it, if someone offers to me and they want me, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Right, cool. That's what we'll do. Oh, I definitely want to do that. We're going to do readings together. That's going to be so much fun.
Yay!
Yeah. Grown-ups, right now, because this is always a kid in me is always wait. So now we're grown-ups and we can do whatever we want with our friends, and we can hang out, and nobody tells us no, we can't do anything.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Shine on, silver girl.
Permission either.
Oh my God.
Thank you. I do too to the world that just came from.
I love to quote. I do it all the time. I quote Federico Fellini because it's from the movie. Under the Tuscan Sun, and the glamorous lady in the movie, she quotes Federico Fellini, and he's never lose your childish enthusiasm. It's the most important thing. She's got her, her hair and her red lipstick and her big hat on, and I've never forgotten that. I love to spread that quote around because that inner little child joy, fairiness is so important that we keep that alive. Otherwise life would be so much less fun.
Say that quote again. Remember it?
Never lose your childish enthusiasm. It's the most important thing. Federico Fellini, he was an Italian filmmaker.
I have seen that movie, Under the Tuscan Sun, but I've not seen it in a couple of decades, probably. So I am going to look for it tonight, actually.
Yay! It's a good one.
Oh, I love it. So, Samadhi, how are you? Glad to see you, Sandy. We're going now, but the replay is going to be amazing. Wait until you see it and feel it. Oh my God, the whole experience. Blessings to you. Heather's like, that was great. Thank you. And I love it. And can you just ask Daniel if you would like to come over and work with me? Please, I'm open to receive him.
You can ask him. He'll come.
That's your answer, Abuelita. That is your answer, my dear. All right. Again, I say thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Daniel, and thank you to my spirit team for hanging out with me. And
yay!
Thank you all. Thank you, every single one of you, for being here, because we get to do what we love to do and what we're passionate about, because you guys are all part of it. We're all co-creating this together. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love and appreciate all of you.
Me too. I appreciate all of you too.
So the next time we see you guys, I might be 58, and you don't have to say your age, but also Jennifer's an Aries sun also. So, but I get older first. But I'm probably a lot older than you anyway. But I'm just saying. Earth years. Oh wait, before you go, I don't know where this just came from. Before you go, can you talk about? That's not like a short topic. Okay, an old soul. Well, the actual definition for what is your definition of an old soul? Spirit's been talking to me about that lately, and I have my own idea of what exactly I feel it is now. But I'm wondering what your perception is when you hear that.
Well, okay, let's see.
And then we can go. I don't know. I'm sorry about that.
See, I might, and I don't know if mine will match yours or be different from yours. Some things I've read about old soul and new soul. So sometimes people. What I have seen described out there of new souls and old souls is that sometimes old souls might display more wisdom or more empathy or more sensitivity, and that a newer soul might be a little bit more simplistic in their experience. I'm careful with that because sometimes we can make it sound like, well, this one's better than that one. And it's but we're here having this contrast. So who are we to judge somebody else's experience of their lifetime? You know what I mean? So maybe an old soul shows up like a new soul, to be a challenge to us of what we think or perceive, or how we're judging kind of thing. You know what I mean? They could disguise themselves. You know what I mean?
Curve right now, and I'm like, oh, that.
I know that was new for me too. That just showed up for me too. Yeah.
Oh, where'd that come from? But it makes sense. And wow. So where an old soul can be wise enough to be able to come in and present as
yeah. Think of it sometimes some people have the experience like with Jesus, for example. I'm not being religious, I'm just using as the story, and sometimes in movies, like Jesus might show up like as a homeless person, and then how is everybody treating him, not knowing that he's like Jesus in disguise, kind of thing. So that just like popped in my awareness too, of like what our perception is, what our judgment is. So you never know. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, beyond the looking glass of things, to quote Alice.
What came to my mind, and I don't know if that resonates with you, but is that an old soul doesn't mean that the soul was created first. It just means that that soul has more experience on that particular plane, like maybe the earth plane. Maybe someone is human, more time than someone else. Maybe somebody else was doing, that soul was doing something somewhere else, and this other soul, became a human like a few thousand. She's grooming right here, right now.
She's like doing. She was like giving a high five. She was giving a high five.
Oh, God. She was taking a bath. Why not?
I just wanted to high five her little paw. It's so cute.
Spirit's laughing. She's just all about me. Right, Trixie?
But that's an old soul right there in your little cat.
Oh my gosh, yes. She's such an old soul. Oh my God. That was brilliant. That was inspired. All right. Well, thank you. And thank you for taking the extra time to talk about that.
Anytime.
I love you a bunch, and I really appreciate you. And we'll get together soon. So, guys, watch. Keep your eyes out, because we will be announcing a live double readings. We're going to do that together. And that's
wow! Yay! That is exciting.
Okay. I love you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Night, everyone.
Next Friday, guys, join me next Friday. I have another amazing guest, Reverend Judy Stetson Weaver, and it's 2 weeks in a row instead of every other week this time, but usually it's every other. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. I want to say happy birthday to my friend Debbie out there. It's her birthday, and she's a dear angelic friend of mine. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her. I don't know if she's going to see it or not, but bye. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy birthday to you and to us too. Happy birthday, dear Aries.
Happy birthday to us.
There we go. We deserve it. All right.
Absolutely.
You're all amazing. See you soon.